Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at Jada's Ultra Street Fighter 2 The Final Challengers, sort of, VEGA. And if you guys know anything about me, you know VEGA is one of my, how did that happen? One of my favorite character designs of all time, and one of my favorite Street Fighter characters to look at, not to play. I don't like the way he plays at all, but I love his character design. And I have to tell you, I'll tell you right off the bat, this is probably my favorite figure from Jada to date. I like it a whole bunch, but I am still going to review it as objectively as I possibly can. There is some stuff that isn't the best. There's a lot of stuff that is really, really good, and I think it may be, we'll see by the end of the review, I think it may actually be the best one they've released so far. But there are some things to talk about, so let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package, and it is as good as always. I love their packaging. I still think it's probably the best, let's say, budget-friendly packaging you can get. I still don't quite get what they're going for with the Ultra Street Fighter 2 thing. It's the line isn't that, right? Like, it's definitely more based on the original games, but kind of only. So it's a weird thing. And the artwork is questionable whether or not it goes to that game. Like, there's different weird things, but I don't care because I don't collect the packaging. But there you go. That's the packaging. Very nice packaging. There's the guy right there. Remember this. Remember that right there. Okay, so, like I said, my favorite figure in the line so far, maybe the best figure in the line so far. I'll let you know. It is in stock at Big Bad Toy Store. He stands just about 6.5 inches. Very reasonably priced. I think they might be like $27 now instead of 25, but still, like, you can't do much better for this pricing. So check it out. There's a link in the description below. 16.5 centimeters. Here he is up against everybody's favorite creepy uncle, and there's that. And let me grab. I forgot to bring him over here, but I got him close enough that I can reach him. All right, we have everybody's favorite creepy wanderer. No, he's not creepy. There's Ryu, and there's VEGA. Now, we have some stuff to talk about, and we're going to do a question of the day. Which version of VEGA is your favorite? For me, my favorite version for all of the characters, in terms of artwork, is probably Turbo, in terms of official game artwork. My favorite sprite's probably Street Fighter 3, and then my favorite overall version is probably the Street Fighter 2 animated movie. I love that styling. I think it's great. And I think they took a lot of inspiration from that for this guy, because in most of the games, VEGA's relatively slender, like pretty damn slender, especially in the first Street Fighter 2 game and all the subsequent ones that use similar sprites. He's very, very slender. And not like Dulcine, but pretty dang skinny. And then he got a little bulkier later on in like 4 and every other game after that. But this guy's pretty damn thick. I thought he was going to look too blocky when they showed the promo images. He's not blocky, he's just very muscular. He makes Ryu, let me get him back out here, he makes Ryu look pretty damn small. I mean, Ryu looks positively unimposing compared to VEGA. They almost look like they're in different scales. So that's a thing. Now, I guess technically it's probably not a good thing because they have to go on the shelf together, but if you just want a VEGA figure, it's awesome, because I think he's probably the best physique out of all of the figures they've released. The way they've sculpted the chest and the shoulders and the waist and everything to give him that V shape, that taper, it's definitely leaning on that animated movie look with that really like hulking build style that they've done. So you might not like that if you're in for consistency, but I mean, it looks pretty darn good, so I have to say I like that a lot. Even with the faceplate, if you're familiar with that movie, this does look a lot like that faceplate, the mask, as opposed to how he is usually depicted. The little bit more of a slant, maybe slightly closed eyes. I don't know. I love it. I'm just thrilled. I'm smitten with the way they've made this figure. But I think he makes everyone else look silly compared to him. Not silly, but way less good. Alright, so there's that, and since we're still talking about the aesthetic, you know, some people have brought up to me that the claw is on the wrong side. There's argument for either positioning. It doesn't matter to me at all, and I'm sure Capcom weighed in and decided on that, so you have to take that up with Capcom. Now, the one thing I will take issue with, and that is... There is one thing, and that is the gold claw. Now, I'm assuming the argument for that is in the original sprite, the claw looks kind of gold. And you would think, well, that makes sense. Except the claw and the face mask and this part of his pants, or his socks, or whatever those are, they're all the same color, because they had limited color palettes for the sprites. And in every single piece of artwork in every later game where they had more detailed sprites, the claw is silver. So I do take a little bit of issue with that. It doesn't bother me terribly, but they haven't given us an alternate one, and it is gold. So I don't know. I get why they did it, but I also don't get why they did it, because there's, as far as I know, and maybe I don't know, some particular version of VEGA had a gold claw. I don't know. I don't get that personally, especially the solid gold. I don't remember it ever looking like that, but maybe somebody can refresh my memory. But anyway, it looks fantastic otherwise. He's got a really, really good build. The paintwork is pretty good. Maybe the purple could be a little bit more purple, a little bit less pink, but for the snake. But it's really well applied. The pants stripes are pretty good. You know, it's a good looking figure. The cloth they used works well. I was really worried about that when they announced that they were going to do the soft goods for the belt, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it works pretty darn well. It's not perfect, we'll talk about that, but it's a good looking figure. His musculature is way better than a lot of the other figures. Yeah, I'm going to go 9.8 out of 10. It's really, really good. Do have some issues with paint. I mean, these are minor issues, of course, given the price point, but I don't know if you're going to be able to tell, but there's some kind of like shininess, and it's not glue, I don't think, but there's some schmutz on there. It makes his head look weird, but you're not going to see that unless you're looking for it, so that'll be okay. So yeah, really, really good looking figure. Now, as far as accessories go, this isn't the head that comes on him in the package. In fact, he has the unmasked head on him in the package, so you get both of those, masked and unmasked. Now, the unmasked head, I think his eyes, they're just a tiny bit too close to the center, and he looks a little bit cross-eyed, but that might just be an optical illusion because they only painted part of his eyebrows. There's sculpt for his eyebrows going underneath the hair, but the paint does not go over there, and I think that's giving him that cross-eyed look. If that was fixed, I think he would look much better. But there is some shading in the hair, and the sculpt on the face looks not bad at all, so other than those paint issues, I like it. You do get some hands, so you have the two fist hands, one with the claw cooked onto it, and then you get two clenchy hands, and that's fine. And then you do get his alternate claw, the one that's removable, and you get the swoosh effect, which is actually really nice. And so that's a good spread of accessories. Other than the issue with the face paint, I think that's a pretty good spread, so I will go 9 out of 10. The face paint is knocking it down. Okay, now it's time for the articulation, which is a really important part for a Street Fighter figure, and we're going to talk about that. So, head and neck, ball pegs, as we have come to know and love on this line, moves around very nicely, and he's actually designed to lean his head back pretty far, so that's good. It works very well, no problem at all. Now, the hair is very soft. Very, very soft, and I've been arguing that hair needs to be made out of this material for as long as I've been reviewing. Most companies, like Hasbro for instance, because they make figures in this scale, they tend to just stick with their standard PVC with the same hardness, and you don't need to do that. You can use very, very soft plastic. Now, it's not wired or anything, and it does have a ball peg in here, or it's really just a swivel, but it's the way it's sculpted, you're not going to really want to move it too much, I'm guessing. So I don't know if I love the way they did this. I think they might as well have just not made it rotate, personally, or given us another head where it's better for that, but it is okay. And on the other head, it's definitely sculpted into just one fixed position to go over his shoulder, but it is nice and soft. Like, you can definitely do soft materials. Look at that. So that's good. I don't know how practical it is for posing. I guess this is going to be the head you use most, and you can pose it some, but only kinda. Alright, for the shoulders, we have the same butterfly setup as we have had before, although his are just really being pushed to the max. They go across the chest pretty well, and then they do go back pretty darn far also. They've done a much better job on this guy than they have on some of the other figures. He is, there you go, even farther. A little bit of a gap there, but they really maxed out the articulation, and they didn't mess up the sculpt too bad with it, so hey, that's pretty good. You get your full shoulder there, of course you get your hinge here, up to horizontal, that's good. Bicep swivel is fine, no issues there. Double jointed elbow on this guy works, no problem. And then for the wrist, you get your swivel and your hinge, so that's pretty good. Now for the diaphragm joint on this guy, I do have to say, unless mine was stuck at first, it doesn't work as well as I was expecting. We'll see. Leaning back, I can't get it to go any farther back. Does it not go? That's as far back as I can get it to go. So it is, unless mine is stuck, that's as far back as it goes. And then going forward, you get a decent amount. So that's good. And then side to side, and we're just using the top joint here. Going side to side, I can't get it to really do much. It kind of wiggles, but I can't force it to actually go any farther. So it's pretty limited there. And as far as rotation goes, it's not happening. So it's pretty seamless. The gap is tiny, but he is very limited in that upper torso. Now for the lower torso, we'll get this out of the way for now, it does go farther. But you get a hole in there, but it'll be hidden. So he can lean back farther down there and farther going forward at the bottom. So that's good. Side to side at the bottom is definitely better as well. And that's where you get your rotation. So using all of the joints together in the torso, it should be just fine. But you do have some limitations in some spots. Now this little hook here, I'm assuming they put it there to hold this in place when he's upside down so that it doesn't fall up around his chest. So that's pretty good. I like that they considered that. I'm assuming that's what it's for. If it's not, if it's for something else, maybe some nunchucks, I don't know. But it works. Now this thing is wired, but I have to check. It's definitely wired on one side. Is it wired on both sides? I don't think it is. It looks to me, yeah, the wire stops. So I don't love that. I wish I had a little bit more control of the wire, but it's not a huge deal. It is wired, so I'll take it. It's a little cumbersome. It's the same reason I don't typically like soft goods on my action figures that are at this size, because they're out of scale, the knot's humongous, it's a little bulky and weird looking. Now luckily they did a good enough job that it doesn't actually bother me any. I don't know if it's going to bother any of you guys if you don't like the soft goods, but it's probably a better alternative than a chunky, cumbersome plastic piece. So I'll take it, and I like that it does have at least some wiring. For the hips, going out to the side, not completely full splits, but basically full on splits and no giant chunks hanging down or anything like that, so that's good. Bring the legs forward. The crotch is flexible, so you can get that leg up there. That works very nicely. And then going back, goes pretty far back. No problems there. Thigh swivel is good. Double jointed knee. Definitely could use a little bit more paint in there to carry it through. They didn't do that. That's unfortunate. It's not a huge deal, but they did come pretty far over with the stripe, so I would have expected a little bit more paint. But you do get a good knee bend out of that, so that's good. You get your boot swivel not up here, down here, which is weird. I shouldn't say weird. I guess because these are so high, they didn't really have a choice. They had to put it somewhere down here. So instead of doing an actual ball hinge, they just put the swivel here, and they rounded his leg out down here, which is the kind of thing I've been advocating for a long time. If you're going to have sculpts that aren't perfectly realistic, definitely skew them in your favor. Making this round makes this rotation work so much better. Now that rotation is not super useful other than to use his ankle rocker. So if you need to do that, you can rotate it around so that the ankle or the foot is not off center. So that's a good thing. But having this be flush when you rotate it makes the figure look so much better than if it was to have chunks of flat showing. So that's good. I like that. Bringing the foot back works really nicely. No problems there. Going forward, really good range. And the ankle rocker is actually pretty darn good, so you don't really need that rotation too much, but you have it in case you do need it. So yeah, this guy poses really well. One issue, I guess, would be that the hair doesn't give you that many options, but it'll be fine. Like, it's not bad, of course. And the torso could have a little bit more range if all of the joints worked at their maximum capacity, but it still does get the job done. So I'm going to give his articulation an overall rating of, I'm going to say, I think it accomplishes the poses well enough that I'll go 9. I think it could do even more, though, if they didn't have those few hiccups. But yeah, I think this is probably their best release. I don't know for sure, but I think he looks the best. Comes with good accessories, because previously it was either like Blanca or Sagat. I think he makes them both look not as good. I think he looks really, really good. I think it's the sculpt in particular on this guy that does it. So I'm going to give him an overall rating of 9.5 out of 10. There are a few hiccups here and there, but it is really, really, really good. And I don't know what I rated Sagat and Blanca. If they were higher than that, then maybe this guy goes higher than those, or they switch spots. I don't know, but I think this guy's better than those, personally. That might be my bias showing, but I think he has a better sculpt. I don't think Sagat had the best sculpt, and this guy's it seems much better. Much better. And there's a little bit more going on for the character design that they had to do, too. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about who's the best one yet, but I think this is great, and I think if Storm doesn't make a VEGA soon, I'm going to be pretty upset for the collectibles or Arena. I need a Storm VEGA figure. Been waiting for so long. Okay, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. That's it from me. If you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos just about every single day, and I have thousands of videos already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.